My wife Laura looked at the girl our son secretly loved and said, "Emily, did you know Noah has had a huge crush on you for months?" The room went completely silent. Noah turned bright red. Emily grabbed her backpack and walked out. And that night, I told my wife she had humiliated our son. But 3 days later, Noah told me something that made me realize my wife had been right about one thing. Noah was 15, and until that Saturday, I thought his biggest problem was being embarrassed by his parents. I was wrong. His real problem was that he was terrified his friends would discover who he had a crush on. Her name was Emily. And when I eventually learned why Noah was hiding his feelings, I understood his fear. His friends had been making cruel jokes about Emily's weight, her skin, and the way she dressed. Noah wasn't laughing because he thought they were funny. He was laughing because he was afraid they'd turn those jokes on him. I didn't like what Noah was doing, but I also understood him. He was 15. He wanted to fit in. He wanted his friends to accept him, and he was scared that admitting he liked Emily would make him the next target. What I didn't know was that my wife had already decided Noah needed to learn a lesson, and 3 days later, she would teach it in front of everyone. Then my wife Laura discovered Noah's secret. It started a few weeks earlier. Laura had noticed Noah spending time with a girl named Ava. One evening, she teased him about having a girlfriend. Noah laughed. No. Laura kept asking. Eventually, he admitted there was someone he liked. Her name was Emily Brooks. Emily was in his grade. She was quiet, artistic, little shy, and Noah genuinely liked her, but he made Laura promise not to tell anyone, especially his friends. Laura asked why. Noah stared at the floor. Then he admitted his friends would make fun of him. Emily was heavier than most of the girls at school. She struggled with acne. She dressed differently, and Noah's friends had already made jokes about her. Noah was terrified that if they found out he liked her, he'd become the joke instead. Laura told him that judging someone because of their appearance was wrong. Noah agreed, but he still begged her to keep his secret. She promised at least. That's what Noah believed. A few days later, I saw something that complicated the whole situation. Noah and Emily were at a school basketball game. Emily dropped a stack of papers. Noah immediately bent down to help her. She smiled. He smiled back. There was no embarrassment on his face, no disgust, no hesitation, just a nervous teenage boy who clearly liked a girl. That's when I realized something Noah wasn't ashamed of Emily. He was ashamed of what his friends might think about him for liking her. I still didn't think that was okay, but I understood it. 50-year-olds can be cruel sometimes, not because they're cruel people, but because they're terrified of becoming the next target. Then came Saturday. Noah invited several friends over, for boys, girls, and Emily. I was downstairs, making coffee while everyone talked in the living room. They were laughing. Someone was playing music. Everything sounded normal until Laura walked into the room. I heard her say, "Emily, did you know Noah has had a huge crush on you for months?" I froze. For a second, I thought I'd misheard her. Then the room went silent. I walked toward the living room. Noah looked like all the blood had drained from his face. Emily stared at him. One of the boys gave an awkward laugh. Noah didn't move. Emily whispered, "I didn't know." Then she grabbed her backpack. Noah finally stood. "Emily," she shook her head, "I have to go." And she walked out. The other kids barely said goodbye. Within minutes, everyone was gone. Noah went upstairs. His bedroom door slammed. Then another door. Then another. I turned toward Laura. "What did you just do?" She looked completely calm. I told Emily the truth. "You humiliated him. He was ashamed of her." "That doesn't give you the right to expose him." Laura crossed her arms. "He needs to understand what he's doing. He needed a conversation." I pointed toward the stairs, not an audience. Laura's expression hardened. Then she asked, "What if Emily were Lily?" I stopped. She continued, "What if someone rejected our daughter because of her weight or her skin? Wouldn't you want that boy's parents to teach him better?" "Of course." "Then why are you defending Noah?" "I'm not defending what he said." I lowered my voice. "I'm defending his right to trust his mother." Laura looked away. Then she said something that surprised me. "I know what it's like to be Emily." I stared at her. Laura had never talked about this before. When she was 14, she had been one of the heavier girls in her class. She had acne. She wore oversized clothes because she hated people looking at her. And one boy had discovered that she liked him. He told everyone. The entire class laughed. Laura never told her parents. She just stopped talking about it. For years, she'd carried that humiliation. Now she'd heard Noah say he was afraid of being mocked for liking a girl because of her appearance, and something inside her snapped. She thought she was stopping history from repeating itself, but I still believed she had crossed a line. That night, we argued. Eventually, Laura slept in the guest room. I went upstairs to check on Noah. He was sitting on the floor beside his bed. His eyes were red. He didn't look angry anymore. He looked broken. I sat beside him. For almost a minute, neither of us spoke. Then he whispered, "I really like her, Dad." I asked, "Then why were you hiding it?" "Because everyone would laugh." I asked him something harder. "Would you laugh if one of your friends liked her?" "No." "Then why did you laugh when they made jokes about her?" He went silent. Finally, he said, "Because I didn't want them to know." That answer hurt. Noah hadn't been the one making the jokes, but he'd laughed along. He had pretended something was funny, because he was afraid that if he defended Emily, his friends would turn on him. I told him that being afraid didn't make him a bad person, but it didn't make what he'd done right either. He needed to learn that protecting yourself from cruelty doesn't mean joining in with it. Noah nodded. Then he asked me, "Does Mum think I'm a horrible person?" I told him no. "She thinks you're capable of becoming a better one." He looked at me. I wish she'd talk to me instead. So did I for the next few days. Things were tense. Laura eventually apologized to Noah. She didn't make excuses. She admitted she'd broken his trust. Noah accepted the apology, but he was still hurt. I thought that was the end of it. Then, 3 days later, Noah's phone buzzed. He looked at the screen. His expression changed. It was Emily. Her message said, "I thought you liked me." Then another message appeared. "Now I think you were embarrassed by me." Noah stared at the screen. "I wasn't embarrassed by you," he whispered. But Emily couldn't know that. From her perspective, a boy had secretly liked her, and then his mother had announced it in front of everyone. She had no way of knowing what Noah really felt. That night, Noah told me he wanted to apologize. I asked what he planned to say. He said, "I don't want her to forgive me." I looked at him. "Then what do you want?" "I just want her to know the truth." The next afternoon, Noah found Emily at school. He didn't corner her. He didn't ask her to date him. He simply walked over. "I'm sorry." Emily looked at him. "For what?" "For making you think I was ashamed of you." She frowned. "Weren't you?" Noah swallowed. "No." He looked terrified. "But I was scared of everyone else." Emily stayed silent. Noah continued, "And I shouldn't have laughed when people made fun of you." Emily's expression changed. "So you did laugh?" Noah nodded. "I did." "Why?" "Because I was scared they'd laugh at me next." Emily looked at him for a long moment. Then she said, "That still hurt." "I know. And your mum shouldn't have told everyone." "I know." Noah looked down, but she was right about one thing. Emily waited. "I shouldn't have let other people's opinions decide how I treated you." Emily didn't forgive him immediately. She didn't suddenly fall into his arms. She simply said, "Then don't do it again." Noah nodded. "Okay." And he walked away. For the first time, he wasn't trying to protect himself from everyone's opinion. He was willing to accept the consequences of telling the truth. A few weeks passed. Emily eventually started talking to him again. Not because everything was magically fixed, but because Noah had changed one small thing. He stopped laughing when his friends made cruel jokes. One afternoon, a boy in his group made another comment about someone's weight. Noah looked at him. "What's funny about that?" The boy stared at him. Nobody laughed. Noah didn't care. For once, he wasn't worried about who might judge him. Meanwhile, Laura changed too. She still taught our kids to be kind. She still challenged them when they said something cruel. But she stopped confusing humiliation with accountability. One evening, I found her sitting on Noah's bed. She was crying. She told him, "I was so determined to protect Emily from becoming the girl I used to be, that I forgot to protect you from becoming the boy who hurt me." Noah didn't say anything. Then Laura whispered, "I should have trusted you enough to have that conversation privately." Noah finally reached for her hand. "I wish you had." She held it, and for the first time since that terrible Saturday, they both smiled. Watching them, I realized something. Laura had been right about one thing. Noah needed to learn that people's bodies, skin, clothes, or popularity don't determine their worth. But I had been right about something too. You don't teach someone not to humiliate people by humiliating them. Noah had to learn courage. Laura had to learn restraint. And I had to learn that being a good father didn't mean protecting my son from every painful consequence. Sometimes you let your child face the truth. You just make sure they know they don't have to face it alone. And maybe that's what parenting really is, not raising perfect children, but helping imperfect ones become better people without making them believe they have to be perfect to deserve your love and lies, because every heart has a secret. Subscribe for more emotional stories. See you in the next story.